You're wasting everyone's time with these unfounded theories. Dr. Malcolm Green's voice cut through the lecture hall like a razor. The words struck hard, not just because of their sharpness, but because they were aimed at 12-year-old Layla Carter, the girl from Roxbury, sitting silently in the second row. He spoke as though the matter were settled, as though it were laughable that someone like her, black, soft-spoken, and clad in worn sneakers, could offer anything meaningful in the most revered lecture hall at Eastbridge University. Everyone expected her to shrink into herself, to bow her head and take the verbal blow like so many others had under Dr. Green's withering gaze. But Isla simply raised her hand and, in a calm, steady voice, said, "I'd like to present my solution to the Hamilton-Weston conjecture." No one in the room saw it coming. The Hamilton-Weston conjecture wasn't some puzzle from a textbook. It had baffled some of the sharpest mathematical minds for over 4 decades. Countless scholars, many of them award-winning, had tried and failed. For Isla to even utter the phrase with confidence was unthinkable. But that moment wasn't the beginning. Layla Carter's story started in a cramped Boston apartment above a hardware store. Her fingers moved swiftly over the pages of a second-hand notebook, equations rolling out of her like breath. Numbers made sense to her. They weren't just symbols. They were stories, dances, possibilities. Her father, Jermaine Carter, ironed his overnight security uniform, fatigue clear in every line of his face. Still, when Isla held up her solution to a problem her teachers had said she wouldn't understand for years, he smiled. "That's my girl. Finding your own way." Since her mother's death 3 years earlier, Jermaine had held their lives together with late-night shifts and quiet prayers. Every extra dollar he earned went toward used textbooks and new notebooks for Isla, and she devoured them all. Miss Taylor, her math teacher and one of the few black educators at Adams Middle School, saw what most others overlooked. She stayed late after class, offering Isla challenges far beyond the curriculum. One day, she slipped a college-level number theory textbook into Isla's hands with reverence. "You're different, Isla. You could be one of the greats. But remember, the world doesn't always make space for girls like you. You're going to have to take it." And take it she did. When Eastbridge University announced a special enrichment program for gifted math students, one that, for the first time, accepted middle schoolers, Miss Taylor insisted Isla apply. The application fee was a hurdle. The distance, even more so. But Jermaine took on a second weekend job. They made it work. The principal refused to write a recommendation. "Be realistic," he told Miss Taylor. "These programs are for prep school kids, not someone from Roxbury." Miss Taylor submitted the letter herself. Weeks later, the acceptance envelope came. Isla screamed, and Jermaine hugged her so tight she lost her breath. "They don't know how lucky they are," he whispered. But getting in was just the beginning. The first day at Eastbridge felt like stepping onto another planet. Isla's thrifted blazer hung awkwardly over her narrow shoulders. The marble floors gleamed. Students buzzed with energy and entitlement. Most were white or Asian, and nearly all came from elite private schools. Isla clutched her notebook like armor. Dr. Malcolm Green was everything the rumors promised: brilliant, cold, and blunt. A Fields medalist, he had no time for pleasantries or pretense. "If you've heard I'm hard to impress, you've heard correctly," he said, his eyes scanning the room like a hawk. When he reached her name on the roster, Layla Carter, Adams Middle, he paused, frowning. "Public school." "Yes, sir," she answered. He nodded once, unexpected. Throughout that first lecture, Isla raised her hand again and again. He never called on her. When she finally offered a solution unprompted, one that bypassed the standard approach to prime decompositions, he cut her off. "You're not ready for innovation, Miss Carter. Master the basics first." The others laughed. She didn't flinch. After class, no one approached her. She sat alone during breaks. But at night, in their small apartment, she covered her bedroom walls with theories, diagrams, and notes about the Hamilton-Weston conjecture. "Impossible," Dr. Green had said. Isla saw something else. Her father noticed the change. "You're working harder than ever," he said one night. "I have to," she replied. "They think I don't belong." "Do you?" She paused. "I don't know yet, but I want it." A week later, a visiting professor from MIT, Dr. Eliza Moreno, came to lecture on the conjecture. Unlike Dr. Green, she encouraged questions. When Isla proposed a radical shift using non-traditional analysis, Dr. Moreno's eyes lit up. Now, that's thinking outside the box. Dr. Green wasn't pleased. Later, Layla overheard him murmuring to Dr. Moreno, "We must maintain academic standards. This isn't about inclusion quotas." Isla's cheeks flushed, but the spark had caught. She kept refining her ideas. One rainy evening, she saw the pattern. It was like the numbers whispered their secret to her, and she finally understood how to unlock the door that had confounded mathematicians for decades. She didn't sleep. By morning, she had written a 30-page proof, complete with diagrams, supporting logic, and citations. It still wasn't enough. When she and a quiet student named Ethan Hong, one of the few who never mocked her, tried to present the theory during class group work, Dr. Green dismissed them. Mathematical fantasy, he called it. Waste of time. That night, Isla cried. "I can't make them see me," she told her dad. "Then don't," he said. "Make them see the math. Make it undeniable." She did, and word spread. Dr. Moreno shared her work with a colleague, who passed it along to the department chair. And then came Dr. Nain Ross, the first black woman ever tenured in East Bridge's math department, who showed up one morning before class. "You're Isla Carter," she said. "I've read your paper." Isla stood, stunned. "You have?" "I have. And I want you to walk me through it, line by line." They met privately for weeks. Dr. Ross didn't coddle her. She challenged her at every step. But she listened, and that, more than anything, made all the difference. When final presentation day arrived, Dr. Green didn't invite Layla to speak. But she stood anyway. "I'd like to present my solution to the Hamilton-Weston conjecture," she announced. Dr. Green looked ready to object. Dr. Ross stood. "She should be heard." "5 minutes," he said, his tone stiff. Isla approached the podium. Her heart raced, but her voice never shook. She explained her reframing, how the failure to solve the conjecture stemmed from a dimensional misunderstanding, how primes behave differently under certain quantum transformations. She laid out her topological framework, her assumptions, her conclusions. She answered every question thrown at her, some sharp, some genuinely curious, with clarity and depth beyond her years. When she finished, the room was silent. Then came the applause, not polite, but thunderous. A professor from Caltech asked to co-publish. A researcher from Cambridge asked for her notes. Even Dr. Green, his jaw clenched, offered a strained compliment. Unorthodox, but compelling. The solution was verified by a committee within weeks. The conjecture was no longer unsolved. And Layla Carter, 12 years old, daughter of a night shift guard from Roxbury, had done what generations of academics could not. Eastbridge offered her a mentorship. A scholarship fund was named in her honor. Her story appeared in national papers. But what mattered most to her was the letter she received from a fifth-grade girl in Chicago. "I saw you on the news. My teacher says girls like us aren't good at math, but I think she's wrong." Isla framed it right next to Dr. Ross's handwritten note. "You remind the world that genius knows no zip code." Layla Carter had solved the impossible problem, and in doing so, she made room for others to do the same.